Mary, I'd be curious to know what you think about inventory in where you think it's heading in July, August, and September. Typically, those are the months where it will go up before it pulls back down. As we get closer to the holidays, people pull their homes off the market. Can we get over 3 months of inventory in July or August? Do you think that's even possible?
Wow. I think that what I'm starting to see, and even today, the listings there was a little bit stronger on the upload, but and then the question is, how long does it sustain itself? They're going very quickly, typically speaking. Not every home, but many are still enjoying the benefit of 4 to 6, 7, 8 offers at minimum, right? So I honestly think we're going to stay relatively stable. There's certain pockets where people, owners, sellers, are sitting back going, wow, I can't believe that guy down the street just got that. What that does do is it does initiate some thought. Water orientated properties, for instance, some of these are just hitting numbers we didn't expect even down here. And people are saying, my God, if they got that, maybe I should try and jump in, especially if it's a secondary property. So you might see those folks enter in on the basis of speculation, somewhat saying, hey, if I get this kind of number, I'm out of here. But I think for the most part, we're going to see, I don't think we're going to break 3 months. And historically, summers, we slow down a little bit because people get distracted with vacations. They would go away late July, August in the heat of it before, they ramp up again. And I'm not sure that their eyes are going to be off the ball this season because the consequence is they may lose an option. So no, I'm not hopeful that we're going to break 3 month inventory.
Last year, the peak was in July. That was 2.6 months of inventory for single family homes. This is statewide, according to the CT MLS. And that was the highest we got. 6 months of inventory is what you would consider, a normal market where neither buyers nor sellers really have the advantage over the other. Certainly when you're under 6 months like we are today, you have an advantage to the sellers in almost every price category, in almost every town. There are outliers in every situation. It may be a property that can't be financed, might even out a little bit, although there are a lot of cash buyers. In fact, we have 1/3 of transactions are cash buyers today, which is the highest level in 9 years. That was just reported earlier in the week. So yeah, I think 3 would be a stretch. It'd be a welcome sign to home shoppers, but I would agree it's probably a stretch just based off of where we are right now and the trend that we saw last year being the high of 2.6.
You'd have to go back to November 2020 to see the last time we had 3.1 months of supply. Right. Since November 2020, we have not gotten above 2.6 months.
Right.
And as Byron mentioned, right now we sit at 2.
I remember looking at numbers in the double digits in 2012 and 2013. And
yeah,
Mary, when we tell that to a newer agent that those were some of the numbers, they actually don't even believe you. They can't. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Double digit months of inventory.
Yeah. Well, it for those who've been through it, it was. I mean, there were some towns that were at 2 years inventory.
2 years.
Out, yeah.
Wow.
And actually, Salem, Connecticut was one of them at one point. It was 18 to 24 months on a rather consistent basis at times, but just as one town. And this is going back, of course. It's different. But we also have this issue of the rental market being equally strong and equally paltry in opportunity. So even if someone says, look, and I've had 1 or 2 people say, maybe I should just sell the house. I'll take an interim rent and I'll sit on my money. I'm not keen on that in many instances. And this goes back to the whole conversation initially, Chaz, where it's like, we have a great responsibility when we sit down with people. We go over options. Ultimately, the choice is theirs. But I think one of the reasons where the more experienced agents are even void of inventory they used to have is it's very concerning, and I feel professionally responsible when you're giving advice to say, hey, I'm not so sure that's the smart thing to do. I have a couple who love them dearly. I just sold their home a handful of months ago, and they're well into their 90s, let's be diplomatic. And now they're calling me and they want to buy again. And I'm like, guys, no, I don't see this. And I'm trying to talk these folks out of trying to buy something.
Wow.
And and partially it's because the options for folks that are in the more sunset years, they're terrible, short of assisted living.
Mhm.
And they just feel forced into going, they needed to get there to the big place, but where do they go now? And it's a real it's a concern. And we can't breed options, but we can discuss options. Even considering relocating closer to your son, is that not an option? Because maybe the options will be greater there. We need to talk about all of these things. So it's not about necessarily gaining the sale or acquiring the listing. It's about counseling where beyond that they go. And that's even applicable to the young couple that's in the 2-bedroom that wants to get the 4-bedroom because their family's growing. I don't want them to give up the 2-bedroom house quite yet, but it is difficult to bid if you have a contingency. So now we work it out that you don't have a contingency, and let's try to factor in if you rented this home, which you're going to get a good rent. Now that produces income on your qualification sheet, which may enhance your ability to do a more aggressive overbid if you choose to do it on a specific property. So because when you're not going to win, to your point earlier, if a third of the deals are cash, which speaks to the fact that people are evaluating whether they keep their money in certain investments or they pull it out so that they can be the better, bigger buyer by perception. And I think some people are saying it's time, I'm going to cash out because I'm only getting, the market's been a little bumpy the past couple of quarters. So if people are only pulling in 3 to 4%, they might just say, it's okay, but it's not really doing me all that well. I'd be a better buyer by taking that money out. And some people are doing it.